Vanessa Walsh. Vanessa, just like Augustina, is a program and employment entrepreneurship manager for the MFS Employment Team. So at MFS, Vanessa works to develop and implement programs to elevate employment, entrepreneurship, and career development opportunities for military spouses and their partners. As the Employment and Entrepreneurship Program Manager and a military brat herself who experienced 6 childhood postings, she's passionate about improving the lives of military families. Again, Vanessa, welcome to you.
Thank you so much. Never in my professional career 20 years ago did I think I would use military brat as an introduction, but super happy to be here and connect with everyone tonight.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Augustina Charles. So in her role managing the Military Spousal Employment Network, Augustina engages with and onboards corporate employers who are interested in hiring military partners, spouses, and understands the unique circumstances of military life. As a self-described people person with an extensive background in stakeholder relationship management, Augustina feels naturally suited engaging with talent acquisition staff to promote employment opportunities to military partners and spouses. Augustina, welcome again, and I hope you enjoy the session with us tonight.
Thank you. Excited to be here and looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, when families relocate to the NCR, employment is one of those top 3 concerns that they'd like to have support with. They're not always aware of this support that's available to them, whether it's at a national level or at a more local level. So the needs that the families have encompasses, a broad range of things. It can be, oh, Karen, I need help, revamping my resume, or I need to practice my interview skills, or I need information on the job market in the National Capital Region. I don't know what the employers are looking for, and I don't know, what transferable skills I have, et cetera. And so what's important to know is that the way that I see it is that there are 2 to 3 levels of support available to you. I would say that you have like a first tier, and that would be the support at the national level that you can access through the MFS Employment Team. And Augustina and Vanessa are part of this very team. They will have a chance to explain to you in more detail what, program services support they can support you with. Then I would say that you can access support through your local MFRC or MFS team. So for instance, in my case, I do have an extensive background in providing employment counseling and coaching. So, and many of you already know me. We've had a chance to meet, and I can provide a certain level of support, for example, with resume writing or referrals to some local employers here in the NCR. And I also work with a network of employment support providers, both on the Ontario Ottawa side and the Quebec side. So, and that would be the third tier, right? So one thing that we do at the MFRC, MFS local level is that we partner with local employment support providers. We educate them on the military lifestyle so that they can support you with whatever it is you might need. So just to give an example, and some of you know that we work a lot with the Employment Ontario network here in the NCR. We've got several employment counselors and job developers that are very familiar with the military lifestyle because they are military spouses themselves or they have served in the past themselves. And on the Gatineau side, we have La Relance, for example, and they too have, internal staff that are very well educated on the military lifestyle and can support you. So right this moment, I don't want to, say too much because I want to give the opportunity for Augustina and Vanessa to share as much information as possible about about their programs and services. And I also want to make sure that we give everybody a chance to ask many questions as possible. So. Vanessa, Augustina, would you like to speak a little bit to what you can offer families? And then we can take questions from our families. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, it is.
So the floor is yours.
Who's going to start, Augustina?
Normally I do, so I'm throwing the ball in your court today.
Sounds good. So thanks so much, Karen, and hi again to everybody. So I'm happy to share about some of the programming that Military Family Services has that could potentially be of interest. And please do hop in if you're comfortable to ask a question right away, just knowing that the session is being recorded. But if not, we can circle back when we stop the recording if you'd prefer as well. Et aussi en français. C'est à votre choix. So the first program that I'd like to share with you is called Your Career Path, and we're currently taking registrations now for a fall start. Your Career Path is a virtual career counseling and career coaching program through Military Family Services. There are about 5 or 6 sessions, one-on-one hour-long sessions with a career coach. And the career coach, along with you, uses a narrative assessment in order to bring out a storytelling aspect of the experiences that you've been through professionally and personally as well. And through that storytelling, then you're able to determine personality characteristics, your values, the different skills. The career coaches are really well acquainted to the transient military family lifestyle. And so knowing what's important to you and keeping in mind the characteristics of military family lifestyle, they can then work to help develop a career, find an appropriate career field that you'd be interested in, jobs within that field, within the location that you're in, and also some tactile support as well with interview prep, resume writing, some social media support as well. So I think Marianne is going to put the registration link for that in the chat. And once again, it's called Your Career Path, ou votre parcours carrière. Il y a aussi les coachs francophones, canadiennes francophones aussi, pour appuyer les conversations complètement bilingues en français. And we're That one, as I was saying, is a fall launch. So just keeping in mind the posting season and then the summer. So we're starting the wait list now. Okay, I will keep going. Another program that we have that's in session right now. So you wouldn't be able to catch this one, but again, we're launching another one in the fall, mid-September. It's called Portfolio. And that one is done in collaboration with the Trenton MFRC. A fantastic career development practitioner named Elizabeth Augustina. I'm blanking on Liz's name. Thank you. And that uses an evidence-based theory called prior learning and assessment, PLAR. So that one I find is really unique and fantastic for military spouses who potentially have had different jobs and different career paths throughout different postings and their career. And the PLAR pulls pieces from your personal life and your professional life through a specific format to have all of your experiences and your skills. So potentially through a posting, you have fantastic time management skills. Well, the PLAR, you can use somebody to verify that time management expertise, and then translate it into language that is really, what's the word I'm looking for? That translated into a language that is attractive to HR hiring managers and talent acquisition specialists. So the portfolio program, we have one in English, and we also have a French serial as well. It's 6 weeks, so about 2 hours a week. Plus there's a little bit of work on your end in terms of collecting all of the different experiences and potentially reaching out to people that you've worked with in the past for not certifying, but for sort of recognizing the skills that you have. And there are also some group sessions as well that you can hop into if that's of value to you, but those aren't mandatory for you to participate in. The other piece about this is that as you're done, you can submit your portfolio, and then Elizabeth will review it, and you can receive a certification from Loyalist College as well that you've completed your portfolio. So that's a nice add at the end of it as well, if you're interested.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa, for that. Yes, we have a good variety of programs, and Vanessa has just spoken to 2 incredible ones, and she will go back again to speak to some of our other ones. But I wanted to hop in and speak about the Military Spousal Employment Network for a second. I see some names on here who I believe have attended some of our events on there. So exciting to have you all. What is the Military Spousal Employment Network? And being with MFS, we love our acronyms, so I will just call it the MSEN. That will save us about 3 minutes of conversation. That's my idea of humor, everyone. Apologies. The MSCN is a virtual hub, and it was actually stood up in 2018 based on an ombudsman report that to help with retention of CAF members. And Karen spoke to the challenges of employment and the impacts that have on the family members, the spouses and partners, but there is also the impact on the member and the CAF. So the network was stood up, and it's a virtual hub. It's been virtual from the moment it was stood up to connect employer partners with a pan-Canadian lens to our population of military spouses and partners. The amazing thing about the network is that once you've registered, which is a really quick process, about 5 minutes, you have the ability to upload your resume, which talent acquisition staff as well as hiring managers are able, once they've been onboarded to the network, to access. And then if they find that you're matched with any of the open roles, to connect with you. So we at Military Family Services play the role of connection. We're the middleman where I find those employer partners who understand the unique circumstances of military life, who we have the conversations to ensure we are educating them on some of the biases that the military spouse population has faced. And then we do that connection with you who've registered to the network through virtual and in-person career fairs, for training sessions and webinars. We have career development videos on the MSCN to help you on your career trajectory, whether you're just starting or you've had many transitions and have access to some of the programs Vanessa have spoken about. To me, one of the most important parts of the MSEN is having access to someone within every organization on the network, and that person is called the military spouse contact. There is an email attached to that contact. If you have any questions about any of the jobs or the organization, you could reach out to that using that email to reach the talent acquisition folks. Why is that important? It is almost impossible to get in touch with anybody from any HR organization unless you're an employee. This isn't a direct into any one of the organizations on there. And I know all of you want to ask, does the MSEN actually work? Have anybody ever been hired through any of our events? The answer is yes. From the time it was stood up until now, we have over 1,000, almost 1,070 reported hires from our employer partners on the network. We poll them every year after events, as well as at the end of the calendar year, to find out how many spouses and partners they have hired, how many interviews, how many contacts. We also have conversations with our spouses and partners who participate in events to let us know whether they've been hired, whether they got interviews after the event. So we get both sides of the event, and we take all of that feedback to continually improve to ensure that military spouses and partners, as well as employers, are meeting at that level and bringing beneficial employment to you, not just to get, but to maintain and to actually find gainful employment. So we work really hard to ensure that we have a cross-section of industries on the network. So we have from doctors like Kalyan and Bayshaw, well, I should say the medical field, to organizations like NTT, who is one of our newer employer partners, who are what they call a business outsourcing unit, looking for talent in the customer service and stakeholder relation realm, to Strongest Family Institute, which is an amazing story. The talent acquisition folk one of the talent acquisition people from SFI was actually hired on the MSCN. So she loves to tell her story because she actually went through your career path, came to an event on the MSCN, and was hired by SFI. Now she's the talent acquisition person who participates in all of our events to say, yes, it does work. So I love it because it's not just my word as somebody working for MFS or the employer's word. You actually have one of the successful candidates. And as I said, we have over 1,000 successful candidates who have been hired through our various events on the network. Vanessa, back over to you.
Sure, happy to. I would just echo what Augustina said about using the platform, the MSCN, and the military spouse employment contact. So when you go into each employer booth, and then you can read the information that they've put there to sort of attract you to their company. There's a tab with Military Spouse Employer Network, and it's an email address for either a person or an HR positional inbox, just like Augustina and I share an inbox. And these organizations that Augustina works with, they have committed to hiring military spouses as part of their equity, diversity, and inclusion practices. So reaching out to them, there may not be a position that's posted, but you can get to know them, where you're located, what you're looking for, and they can put you in contact with local recruiters and keep you in their personal database. We know that the hidden job market is a real thing. The majority of jobs are not posted. So if you can develop a relationship with somebody within a company that you're interested in, somebody like who Augustina was saying, the FSI talent acquisition person, you could potentially be first in the door at that organization that you're interested in. So it really is an underutilized tool that we've created for those connections. So I urge you to try to take advantage of it.
Thanks, Vanessa.
The other program I would share is an entrepreneurial lens. So if you were thinking about potentially starting a side hustle or a small business, the program is called HERCS, for another acronym for you, Helping Entrepreneurs Reach Complete Success. So HERCS. And it is sponsored through us by the Bank of Montreal, by BMO. There's 5 hours of training time. We've just split it this year to happen over 2 days. It used to be a super Saturday, and now it'll be one evening for 2 hours and then 3 hours on a Saturday. So a little bit more manageable for your personal lives. And this goes through all of the basics of starting a small business, things that you'll need to think about. It's also delivered in partnership with the Trenton MFRC. And one of the unique pieces is that there is a massive resource, sort of an e-booklet or a binder. It used to be a physical binder when we did things in person, but now it's a list of resources that are given to you as well for a variety of different federal and provincial resources too. Karen.
Well, thank you for all that great information. We've already learned, a lot, and we're only halfway through the session. So thank you for, the wealth of resources and information you're sharing with all of us here. At this point of the session, I'd like to invite our participants to ask questions, if that's okay with everybody.